only 4% of content creators, and there's about 50 million across the world, 4% of them make more than $100,000 a year. 4%.
We should make more. Welcome to Vision Voices podcast channel. This is an unusual episode because I managed to grab something quite epic the last moment today. Somebody who's called Dean Seddon, and Dean Seddon is the CEO of Maverick, based in England, and came to Dubai for the Epic Content Workshop, and that's where I met Dean this morning. And we're now at the studio recording this last minute episode covering all sorts of epic content.
Thanks for having me, Lara. I mean, we met literally a few hours ago and here we are, but thanks for having me.
So do you believe in podcasting? Like, let's drop it out there.
110%. 110%. I've been doing a podcast for 4 years. And it has been massive in terms of, a bit like most marketing, right? You can't individually say the podcast did that one thing, but you'll see decision maker over here. Oh, I saw your podcast. This happened over here. So I think podcasting, particularly in a B2B context, is kind of massive for building that trust piece and building that authority piece and kind of building an asset. I think of podcasting as an asset that you're building. It's not like social content where it's here today, gone tomorrow. It's a long-term asset you're building to build your business. It's
interesting that this morning was primarily dedicated to viral social content and the way to sort of grab attention, keep that attention, give the satisfaction within the short form. And that actually, every time I was listening to it, I was like, okay, I need to drop out something there. No, let's bring visions in the short form. Anyway, here we are, right? Yeah. Bringing visions into this. I want to ask you something about podcasting, though. I feel sometimes the word podcasting is overused. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, recently, you had the biggest podcasting global event happening in the UK, in London, which made me feel like this whole story actually started back there, probably. I mean, I'm not sure, but I mean, obviously podcasting how it used to be, let's say 10 years ago, and podcasting now, do you feel like these are two different animals and they're used differently? I think
if you look at the evolution of podcasting, really what podcasting is an evolution of a radio interview. Mm-hmm. The difference is it's now everybody can do that kind of radio interview. I think it did start that way, but now video is becoming a huge deal as part of the podcasting experience. And I was listening to something recently, podcast, where somebody said, should we even call it podcasting anymore, given that video is such an important part of podcasting? And podcasting means audio.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I think we want to see the people. We want to go, who is this person? And there is some utility in podcasting audio because, you can be on the train somewhere or what have you. But people are choosing more to sit down and watch a podcast. Whereas it used to be this kind of like, I'll listen to it on the go, I'm in the car. That's still a thing. But people are actually sitting down and choosing to do it. Maybe it's because, I got a controversial opinion, you might want to edit this out. I think if we look at Disney and all of these organizations that do streaming, basically for the last few years, most of their content output has been junk. Mm-hmm. It's been major flops and people are looking for something insightful, stimulating, and podcasting, I think, is filling that gap.
So you were actually linking a lot of interesting examples this morning to the classical TV and the series in particular. So do you really, obviously you do fail, but do you think, so this is as much as the humankind sort of needs from formats perspective, if we need to refer to something that has been created, years ago, we've got AI that can generate multiple different ideas. I'm just dropping an open question to you. You don't have you don't have to have the final answer. I'm just curious to know your opinion about that as somebody who is studying, viral content and the virality of the content and how to grow it and how to generate different things, how to monetize it as well.
Yeah.
So what's your view around that?
So the way humans consume content has not changed. The medium has changed.
Yeah.
So we don't sit down in front of a big, huge box and flick channels anymore. It's in our hands. We are still looking for the same fundamental elements, whether this is podcast is radio or TV, it's newspaper. It's still all consumption of content. And the keys to what content performs are the same. We can hide behind an algorithm, but I said this morning, all algorithms basically follow the pattern of human behavior. Are you keeping people engaged? And are people enjoying that consumption enough to want to share it, to engage with it, to share their opinion? That's like a TV show. If you've got a TV show and it gets 11 million viewers and people love it, the ad revenue increases in that, it gets better positioned on the channel, it probably gets an earlier, more high traffic slot. Is that not how an algorithm works?
It is actually, but why do you think it works? Why do you think this element of satisfaction at the end that actually I picked up on this morning? So the satisfaction can be all different. Like it can be funny, it can be sad, right? It can be eventually thoughtful. I don't know, all different sorts of.
It's a payoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you think about it, every piece of content needs to have a payoff. In other words, I'm investing my time. I'm giving you my time. You have got to promise me a payoff and deliver that payoff. That's newspaper. Like we've all seen social media clickbait, right? King of England says this, right? Shocks world. What's he shocked? If you then click that and it's like, actually, there was no shock the world. It was just, he changed the color of his socks. You feel disappointed and will not stop again for stuff like that because you've not had that payoff. So all content has to deliver payoff. The question is, what payoff are we giving them? So it could be humor. We could make people go, that was funny, I want to see more of it. And we talked about this morning about how a lot of people will spend hours watching people mowing lawns or cleaning rugs.
Yeah.
Why does that perform? Because it's therapeutic.
I don't know. I honestly
It's
don't know.
weirdly satisfying watching people power wash like dirty concrete.
That's true. Yeah. You get the clean floor. Yes.
So it's all content is delivering some kind of payoff in some way. The people who do it well know what payoff they're going to deliver, and then build all of their content around delivering a very similar payoff each time.
Where is the place for the vision then? I mean, that was my major question to you, I think. So we have authors, we have people who've got the points of view around different things. I mean, you and me as well. So probably around content or around, I don't know. Do people go and watch or consume content only for entertainment?
No, there's lots of different reasons to consume content. One is literally a thirst for knowledge. Yeah. I don't know whether you've ever done this, but you see something on the news and you get curious and you go down a rabbit hole of studying it, Wikipediaing it, ChatGPTing it. So there is this kind of thirst for knowledge about things. Mm-hmm. There's also this kind of like, sometimes people consume stuff because it's their world, a similar opinion. So in other words, this reinforces something I believe, so I'm going to watch it. But there's things like people want to achieve a certain goal and are struggling how to do it. So there's lots of different reasons. Obviously, because of TikTok and things like that, the funny stuff, the performative stuff, that tends to do well. But actually, there's people going, I'm going to teach people basic skills. I'm going to show people how to build a business. I'm going to show people how to optimize AI. There are loads of different reasons, but you just have to have a consistent payoff. So if I was like, I'm going to make you laugh today, and tomorrow I'm going to make you think more deeply, and then I'm going to make you try and do multiple payoffs, doesn't work.
Okay, so you, as a one profile, you basically need to deliver one payoff. If you are motivational, then deliver motivation. If you are funny, then deliver. If you are delivering some kind of opinion about different news, then go that road.
Yeah, that's the quickest way to get traction, because different audiences will be looking for different things.
Yeah.
And as we said this morning, one of the primary reasons you gain followers, one of the primary reasons you get sustained viewership, which is podcast or YouTube or TikTok, is because they've enjoyed something before and they want more of it. Like Liam Neeson. I know I relate it to TV. I came from TV. I spent 5 years in TV before I did social media.
Okay.
So if you look at Liam Neeson and Taken movie, it was a massive box office success.
Mm-hmm.
So what did they do? They repeated it with Taken 2 and then Taken 3, right? Because people wanted more of Taken. Yeah.
More of Taken.
More of Taken. What has Liam Neeson has also then rinsed that for the rest of his career with pretty much every film he does is a version of Taken. Yeah.
Okay, so he's probably scaling up whatever worked in that format. Okay.
What about Jim Carrey, right?
Yeah.
If you see Jim Carrey in a film, you don't see him so much anymore, but you expect like slapstick crazy comedy. Yeah. So people fall in love with actors, brands, because they get the same experience, the same payoff.
No, I get it. I absolutely get it. Just to dive a little bit deeper into that long form content game. Not necessarily podcasting, not necessarily interview, but let's take YouTube, all right? As an alternative to TV. We have to be honest, right? So it's just it just changed the entire world.
93% of adults use YouTube in the world.
There we go. And there's YouTube TV now, right?
Yeah.
So it just broke through the entire industry and how it works and how we create, how we engage, and how we do business eventually. So what's the game behind the long form?
So first, to separate the difference between YouTube in 2025 and YouTube even 2 years ago. It's much busier, it's much more competitive. And if you're in B2B, you should not judge your B2B metrics against Logan Paul or any of those people where they can grow really quickly, because B2B is not going to be interesting for everybody. Your business, my business, is not going to be interesting. So trying to get 100 million views on a video about the SaaS industry is going to be difficult. Long form, and I picked this up pretty well from somebody else, but basically with long form video, atypically, if you can get people past 30 seconds, that video is going to do well in any long form. But as we know, YouTube is very much a search-driven platform. So it is about going, number one, what are the key things I should be doing? What are people looking for? And optimizing your long form to match what people are already looking for. But also something really interesting, and I use a tool called TubeBuddy for this. No promo there, but TubeBuddy, you can reverse engineer not just what people are searching for, you can reverse engineer what people are searching for that your channel is capable of gaining audience for. So it'll review your content and go, what chance do you have of competing with that? And then recommend titles, topics that you're more likely to be able to compete with.
That's massive, isn't it? It's like you get tools these days that are absolutely powerful, and if you have the energy to follow those instructions, that's when you succeed. But I think one of the things that the audience mentioned several times today, it's a separate job.
Yeah.
Where can you take time for such a strategic approach to how you create your content?
But that is like YouTube, podcasting, those kind of platforms. You have to think about it as I'm building an asset. And if you were building a multi-floor property to rent apartments out, right? You don't go, oh, the foundations are difficult, let's not bother. because you know if you put the work in, you will get there, and you'll have a finished building, and eventually you'll make X number of dirhams and millions of whatever renting this building out. You have to build that asset. And just one thing that, just whilst I'm there on that YouTube point, inside the YouTube Studio app now, YouTube actually now suggests people are looking for these videos and gives you the titles of the videos you should be creating. The key then is, how do I start that video and how do I deliver that value? And you build that asset. And YouTube's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. That's true.
So, and the weird bit is, one of the best videos I've got on YouTube, I had this weird scenario where every couple of years you change your website, you change your lead magnets, your downloads and everything. But we changed all our website, but we said we'd keep all our landing pages that were out there live because links are everywhere. And we couldn't work out why a 2-year-old lead magnet was still getting downloads. We're like, this can't be anywhere now. Where's this coming from? How are we still getting downloads? And then literally one of our team went through and said, hey, this video, it's been chugging away in the background, like growing slowly. And it had crept up to be the top performing video we've ever done in 9 years of YouTube. But we never saw it because it was a little bit every day. And in that video, I say, I've got a link to a lead magnet in the bottom.
Oh.
And it's been working away. And over 2 years, it brought us 1,000 downloads, just over 1,000, 1,032 or something like that. And we didn't know where it was coming from. And it was YouTube.
That is very impressive. We probably do not know what assets we have actually as a business, as teams very often. So basically, one piece of advice, go and analyze all the assets. Maybe there's a hidden link somewhere.
Tip, you need a spreadsheet to say what you've put where.
Yeah.
Because when you do change your website, you'll have all these rogue links out there. Thankfully, we went back through every video and updated our links, but you'll have these rogue links out there, and one of those YouTube videos could 2 years later be a really popular video, and you're basically promoting a really old lead magnet.
I genuinely was quite impressed with the system of, content generation that you demonstrated today. And definitely it'll be difficult to adopt it to like a user who's not in content. But surely people like me, for example, I was attracted by the whole system.
Yeah.
I immediately estimated how much resources do I need to like put it here and there, because I'm also the main creator. That's what I'd say. But I also had an idea, maybe I should create a channel without my face and I should dedicate myself to something else. But I mean, that was the value for me as somebody who is in content creation. But I would assume that somebody who is a founder or somebody who's running a business would probably not have that capacity, which is fair. I mean, that's getting back to the point. Content creation is not just content creation these days. It's a marketing practice. It's a sales practice, right? It's a separate job. Yeah.
It's a separate job, but there are ways to make it more manageable. So if you're sat there going, I'm going to create every piece of content standalone, that is a huge job. Mel Robbins doesn't do that. Stephen Bartlett doesn't do that. But yet people think that that's the way. So the majority of what you see from Stephen Bartlett on social media are clips from a podcast.
Yeah.
This masterpiece of content that gives you everything else. And that's the bit really, even if you're a founder and you're on your own, trying to go, I'm going to create a video every day is like you're trying to be A-level creator with resources, team, the works. I would go, can you find one way of doing some degree of master content? And when I started my podcast, because I did it this way, I was like, I need a master system. I started my podcast monologue. No guests.
I know. Yeah.
But I got
it's
the
so
clips.
reusable, right?
I got the clips. So definitely having a system, and it's not just I've got a content calendar. It's how am I generating this content efficiently at the beginning so that it can populate everything else. Becomes really important, that system.
I think this is a great message to anyone who's watching or listening to this conversation and who's from business as well, who's not a content creator, let's say on Instagram, who wants to build a YouTube channel, I think they don't have any doubts. Or
can I share you a really interesting stat on this, right?
Yeah.
And I think our perception of social media is very warped. So if you are a content creator, and we're in Dubai, right? This is the place of crazy wealth, crazy success. Everything's on, 110%.
I was going to say luxury.
Yeah. Right. If you're and this is the perception gap. And this is Goldman Sachs did the work on this. If you're a content creator, only 4% of content creators, and there's about 50 million across the world, 4% of them make more than $100,000 a year. 4%.
We should make more.
Right?
Definitely.
So 96% of content creators don't make 100K. And you could argue, why would you do it for less than 100K? Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
And that's dollars. So it's like £80,000 in the UK, which is a good salary. But if you switch that to a business, right, 17% of businesses make more than 100K from social media. So the creator model, right, actually is less successful in terms of money than actually building a business with a marketing engine on the front end to actually sell something on the back end.
I get it. So you basically, if you know how to build your content that sells your product eventually, I mean, you don't have to be a media company, or you don't have to work as a media company. What a lot of people think is if I just copy what creator does, making money is automatic. And it's not, because many creators are not even making what you would class as a minimum wage. They've got another job, or they're supported by a partner. They're doing it for the hopes that one day they will get into that 4% club. Whereas if you're a business with an engine, a system and process, and you're not going, my metric of success is performance on the platform, it's actually conversion, you actually get way better results. It's a very interesting and statistics, and it makes me definitely think, and definitely a food for thought, even for those who never considered social media or podcasting as a way to generate or convert, your content into potential leads. I mean, because there's a not perception, but we know that it has to be really, really strategic to be able to convert something like that, something like this conversation into...
It's a business model.
Exactly.
It's a business model.
Yeah.
And I think what a lot of people do is go, this is a good idea, let's do it. That's not how you run a business. And for an example, your podcast here today, right? If you wanted to go, okay, there's two ways to make money from this podcast. Just very simple. There's, okay, I'm going to do a podcast because I want to be a speaker. I want to go in and consult with business model. Then there's the creator model with, if I build this podcast up to a certain level, people will sponsor it, people will pay to be guests and all that kind of stuff. Two different business models.
True.
The people who make the most money actually is the business model on the back end of the podcast. The people who make the least money, or it's harder to make money, is the people who go, how can I get paid for the podcast?
That's true.
Yeah.
Can you combine both, do you think?
You can. But what I would always say to people is, if you make the business model bit work first, you then have the resource to throw at that bit, which is more labor intensive. A bit like we came to the beginning with, if you're a founder, you don't have the bandwidth to do all this stuff, but you could start a podcast to use it to sell and market your business. And then you go, actually, this is starting to pay off a little bit. I'm making a return on this time. Let me take a portion of that money now and invest in scaling this so I could make it a revenue channel in itself. But what often we do is the other way around, try and make it a revenue channel, burn out. Because you'll have experienced this, right? The toughness of keeping going.
That's true.
Burn out, and then the business engine doesn't get built either.
And do you believe in something like an influencer marketing? Some form of it. For example, if the founder or the brand doesn't have a capacity to create their own content, but they can probably invest it to something that actually resonates with the values and the products and put a product placement in the content that exists. Do you believe in that? Do you think that is the model that can feed the business model that pays off?
I think it can be. It depends on, you know how it works on social media, right? There's a lot of smoke and mirrors. Yeah. You don't know what engagement is real. And a company called Thales did a study, and a company called Imperva. And they basically looked at how much of what we see on social media is genuine engagement. And they concluded that 51% of it, I think it was real. Right? The rest of it is bots, all sorts of engagement for engagement stuff.
That's true.
So a lot of what you see is fabricated, whether that's known or unknown. So influencers can massively help you accelerate. But I'll give you two examples. There's the famous example of the Instagrammer with 2 million followers tried to launch her own t-shirt brand. She didn't sell 32 t-shirts. Yeah. Then there's a LinkedIn influencer who was paid to be a speaker, paid to do promos. He sold one ticket to an event with 200,000 followers. So you have to kind of go, who's actually got traction on the ground where their audience will take action, not just impressions, not just likes. So that's about looking at micro influencers. And most brands are looking at this now and going, micro influencers, they might not have millions, it might be thousands, but they can get those thousands to move and do something. And that's what really matters. So yes, you can do them, but you have to really, in an age of smoke and mirrors, you have to really vet who can actually get people to act.
Do you believe in AI-generated video and audio content to be the way forward for brands, let's say, who do not have a capacity again?
Yes, I think I've done some AI. Last year, I did a run of about 3 months where I did AI avatars of me videos, and they actually perform better. Right? But I also found it useful because when I'm trying to record videos like scripted, I always mess them up.
That's true.
So I think there'll be a place for it. I think there will be this kind of high-end, aesthetic can be created much more economically. So I do think that's the case. But I also think there will be a counter reaction to all the AI content. And there will also be a space for ultra-human. And we're seeing this now. We spoke about YouTube videos, minimal editing YouTube formats that seem to be becoming very, very popular, where it does feel like somebody's just picked up a phone and is just saying it out. So I think a bit like when social media started, right? We all went, way, we can connect to the world. This is incredible. We brought all the world together. And at the same time, we still feel we need deeper connection. So we can talk to more people, but we still want one-to-one conversations. AI will be, actually, we can create miles better content, more slick, more well-produced, more than we could ever make up by ourselves. But the content that looks like it's been thrown together and put together by a human just doing its thing will probably perform as well.
For sure, but it's an interesting opinion about AI-generated content and the way it performs. I actually evaluated the costs of producing an AI-generated video, like a aesthetically good and like a longer form, not just like a minute, but a longer one, and it is still cheaper to create a physical video. We're in the world where it is still cheaper to produce a physical video than the AI generated one. But I'm pretty sure we will come to the time when the situation is going to change.
Yeah, and I think there will be a space for both. Yeah, the easiest way I can explain it is we're going to end up in a place where like, you've got Kindle and you've got books. They will coexist together. You've got the human and you've got the AI. I think what won't be tolerated is halfway between.
Okay.
Where it's like, it's not good AI and it's not human enough.
And it's not human enough. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So this is what I want us to do, if you don't mind. So I took a piece of advice, literally from the morning workshop, how to get some virality in the content, or how to get, not virality, let's say, how to get some traction, the views, and etc. So we need to go into the most popular topics relevant for the region, relevant for the niche that you're working in. So what I did, I went to Google, not to ChatGPT, because Google is still a better search engine, I believe. So I tried searching for the most popular, topics or the searches around, let's say, how to become an influencer in Dubai, how to grow your YouTube channel in Dubai, what are the most relevant topics around content creation in Dubai, things like that. Anything that is related to content creation, long-form content, influencing, visibility as well. So I got a bunch of questions. And how to become an influencer in Dubai was actually one of the popular questions. So I adjusted those questions for somebody who's not a Dubai-based person, who is based in the UK. So, and I got a list of really interesting questions that we can go through. Maybe not all of them, but let's just jump from one to another, and then we'll see how it goes. So, question number one. So what would you change if you started your channel in Dubai instead of the UK?
So given that, I'm just going to do it in my northern way, right? Given that Dubai is the land of pretty people, right? Perfect teeth, perfect hair, perfect everything. I don't quite have that. So I would go all in on opinions. I spent too long worrying about what other people thought and stayed middle of the road. If you're, it's true, pretty people perform better on the internet. It's not a popular thing to say, but it's true. If you don't have the perfect everything, you need really strong convictions and opinions.
So you would invite pretty people to as your guests?
I could pay pretty people to come and hang around me.
Yes.
But if I didn't do that, I would literally go, right, I'm going to just vent my opinions.
Okay.
So I've done that on TikTok. Yeah. I've got a million views this weekend by just sharing my opinion on one thing.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. The next one. Do you think it is easier to go viral in Dubai or the UK?
I think it's easier to make a video in Dubai and go viral in the UK.
I like it. That's funny. Yeah, no, it's I like it. Yeah.
Obviously,
brilliant.
aesthetic is massive. Aspiration is huge. And if you think about it, a lot of social media generates kind of envy. So a lot of what we see on social media has to be like almost a little bit, I don't like this, but look at me, you could be this too. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. So what UK content trend would you never, do you think would, so let's ask again, what UK content trend would never work in Dubai, in your opinion?
So we have a very dry wit, self-deprecating wit. So actually you can kind of self-deprecate and, almost do things that would shred your credibility here, because everything has to be like, I'm successful. There's a very big status culture. Whereas in the UK, actually, you can do really well by just mocking yourself.
Okay. Because Dubai is very diverse. It has got a really, huge sense of, online culture, I think, as much as simple things also can go viral and can be popular and around luxury, etc. But probably, you have to be really specific about the humor, I think, yes.
And in the UK, we have a nasty habit, and it's a cultural habit of, if you see somebody successful, an American would probably go, oh, wow, well done. I'd love to be like that. In the UK, well, I must be up to something. So if you get successful in the UK, we're going to kind of pull you down at some point.
Got it. Love it though. If you were a Dubai creator and wanted 100,000 subscribers on YouTube fast, what would you tell them to do? Or what would you tell them to do? Or what kind of video, what call to action would probably
what kind of video? I would probably pick on two topics, and this would be the easiest one. It would be making money with AI, That would be my YouTube channel. If I was trying to build a huge following fast on YouTube, it would be making money with AI. In terms of what my call to action would be, my first call to action would be basically getting people to engage. So I wouldn't try and sell them anything, download anything. I'd just be trying to get them to engage. Down the line, I would have probably one universal kind of lead magnet, white paper, whatever you want to call it, and it would go into every single video to get people into an email list. And from the email list, I would sell whatever I'm going to sell.
Do white papers still work?
Maybe not the big long-winded ones, but the ones where they've got really fast takeaways, stuff that you can implement quickly, they kind of work.
Like a presentation deck, probably with
4 or 5 pages. It's like actually, a 5-step plan to make 100K with AI.
Got it. Is Dubai too polished for raw, unfiltered content? I think you've actually answered it previously.
I do think there is, outside of Dubai, because of crypto, actually I'll blame my country, and I said this earlier, right? There are far too many British people with what we call broccoli cuts and brilliant white teeth here, making videos about how to make money. And I do think that has created some backlash, not against Dubai itself, but about the perception that there's a lot of people who come here who basically want to sell and maybe are a little bit fast and loose, shall we say, with the way they run their business.
Got it. So what's something Dubai creators could learn from UK creators?
I think coming back to that AI versus human trend, I think there is a risk that some of the creators where they are really, really polished don't create the depth of connection. Mm-hmm. So when you've got like people just, modeling and showing their lifestyle, those videos, those fast-paced lifestyle videos do really well. But what happens when AI can just churn them out faster? Mm-hmm. So I think UK creators often will play into, this is what my real life is like, and you build a more deeper connection with the person. So I think that kind of Instagram version versus the UK, where often it's like, hey, this is what I'm feeling today, this is how we're doing, like the chat thing. I think that could be something really powerful for Dubai-based creators.
I like it. This is an amazing sort of way to look at and for us to look into. What's something UK creators could steal from Dubai's influencers playbook? Let's put it this way.
Well, I think the creators that I see in Dubai, the one thing I will give them is they've got over this, what will people think? And I feel like because of British culture, we're really poor at that. We don't really celebrate the people who are prepared to put them. It's scary going on the internet and showing yourself and sharing what you think. And I don't think we reward it. And so when you see these people, and I used to be this way, I'm from, my dad was a miner. He went down the mines mining coal, right? And I do this. I used to think, and this is a bad thing, that you were unscrupulous if you were cared to be who you said you are, and there must be something you're hiding. And I think the guts to put yourself out there, share what you think, and share your life, and not care about the haters is something UK creators obsess about too much.
Got it. And it was a very sort of deep story. Thank you for sharing that. That was very valuable. Okay, so one more thing. Do you think Dubai creators rely too much on luxury?
I think that's the perception. I think that's what I see. But I guess if I was here, I would see the other dimension. It's like anything, isn't it? You only see the extremes. Yeah, so you see the extremes of the people who are basically flashing Lamborghinis and all that kind of stuff. So you do see the extremes, and the extremes generally get more attention because they provoke.
That's true.
So there is a perception of there's a lot of money in Dubai. And so there's almost like a rite of passage, right? You get good in the UK, at some point you're going to turn up in Dubai.
Yeah.
It's like a thing that has to happen.
Okay, got you. Would you ever move to Dubai for content growth?
100%.
Good stuff.
Do you mean content growth or tax relief?
Love it. So what kind of content makes the most money in the UAE? Your guess, probably. Or maybe you know exactly.
I would say it's probably luxury influencers. So it's your makeups, it's your clothing, it's your luxury items. I would imagine it's that kind of stuff that does really, really well in the UAE.
I think you are absolutely right. London versus Dubai. Who's got the urge for creators right now?
Who's got the what?
Who's got the urge for creators? Like where are they, the most prominent, the most promising, the most potential creators are?
Oh, London's a really interesting place at the moment because there's a lot of stuff going on in the UK. I would actually say, and sorry UK, I'm going to say this, I think Manchester in the UK is a bigger opportunity for creators than London. And the reason I say this is Manchester is outperforming in terms of economic growth, in terms of media, the whole of the UK by like 10 times. So Manchester's got all our media, it's got everything. It's becoming a huge hub. I used to live there and move south because it was warmer. But Manchester is like, if there's a city you want to be in, it's probably not London, it's Manchester.
Interesting. And that's the point of view from the heart of the UK. And thank you very much for this insightful conversation. Lots of interesting points were raised and were thrown out there. Hopefully we'll get a lot of interesting short form content as well. What do you want the audience to do after watching and listening to this episode?
What do I want them to do? Come and check me out on LinkedIn. I hang out on LinkedIn.
For sure.
I know it's
you should do that.
It's the cringiest social media, but I make the most money from it. So
I like your glasses, profile picture.
Yeah. So come find me on LinkedIn. But I think the big one is think about your ecosystem, because the ecosystem of social media is changing with AI. And if you're a short form creator right now, I'd be thinking, where's my long form? Because that trend is coming and we're already seeing growth on long form platforms towards reading, consuming in hours rather than seconds.
And if you're a long form content creator, what would you do to overcome your complexity, and do we need to actually?
Cut up your long form in whatever format and get it out into short form to feed your long form and create that kind of feedback loop that your short form feeds your long form feeds your short form, and just keep going like that. And
after this insightful conversation about business models and the way businesses can adopt, the content creation engine, if it is possible at all, what would be one takeaway that you want them to remember out of this conversation?
I would think about it as define your business model. Where are you going to make money? And understand how quickly you want to make money, because the creator model takes longer, more investment, more long term. The business model, selling stuff on the back end, is actually a quicker return with a smaller audience. So know which business model you're going to go after. And definitely check Dean on LinkedIn. That too, yeah. Check me out on LinkedIn. Absolutely, because I think there's lots of valuable content, and definitely if you have a chance, attend the workshop. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here today. Thanks for having me.